place to put this mic. It's actually a good place. Maybe that'll work. Up there? Yeah, okay. Hello, my name's Aaron. Let me find the good... Sorry, my AC's on. It's mega hot today. Yes, I have a banjo today. There's a song called, that I'm going to try to teach you the lick and the different parts of, called Unlucky Skin. Let me get a better angle. By Shakey Graves. It's a very cool song, very interesting song. It's in an interesting rhythm, which you don't see a lot these days. But yeah, I really like it. It's one of his older songs. I think it was recorded once. It might be on his first album. I can't remember, but it was also recorded, I think, on this like surprise release called "The Man from Torrid," which was a really good little surprise release, strange release. But Shakey Graves is kind of strange, which is great. It's good to be strange. Excuse me. But yeah. So I'm gonna try to teach it to you, trying to get you a good idea of the rhythm. Both the parts are in a strange rhythm. Not strange, but different. Not often used. The banjo tuning is it's pretty similar to like an open tuning on a guitar. You can find a lot of the same shapes and things work, and that's just something I've noticed. A real banjo player might be like, that's ridiculous, that's stupid, but that's how I feel about it. Your drone string, if you have a 5-string banjo, your drone string is going to be tuned to G. Your low string is going to be tuned to D. You'll notice that your drone string is actually higher than your low string. They put that up there. Just that's it's a really it's very characteristic of the banjo. Because on the guitar you're usually using your thumb to play the bass notes, but here you get this extra drone string that kind of sits in the background, much like a drone note. But anyway, that's D. Now I'm forgetting the tuning. D, G, B, D, D, G, B, B. Yeah. Let me double check that. G, D, G, B, D. Yes. Duh. Okay. It's been a long time since I played the banjo, but I used to play this like all the time because it's so cool. So, what you're doing there, once again, your thumb, you're going to want to get that used, because here it's doing not only an alternating bass pattern, but it's hitting different strings at different times. So most of the lick is played with your thumb. You might be able to find a way to incorporate your pointer finger or something, but I would recommend doing the whole thing, the whole lick with your thumb. And there are some points in the first part where your pointer finger comes in, like when you're hitting that. And of course you can always throw, like I said, it's kind of like an open tuning, so you can always throw these bottom 2 strings in pretty much always, not always, but it works. But anyway, so the rhythm of this part is in a 7/8. So I find that you can kind of count it like 1 2 3 1 2 1 2, or count to 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. It's kind of makes it easier to subdivide that way instead of having to count to 7, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I mean, I guess that's not super hard, but you can do that. So 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. So kind of get used to that rhythm, and this is kind of what your thumb is doing. It's kind of going back and forth from your top 3 strings, including your drone string. Your drone string you're kind of hitting all the time because it's a drone note. So if you can see what I'm doing there, just kind of get used to that. And on the last little part of that lick, you're kind of staying down on your G string. So you kind of do D, back to D, then you go back down to your G instead of doing like. So you'll stay down at your G string with your thumb instead of alternating back to the D string. Hopefully that makes sense. What you're doing with your fingers here, you'll kind of hammer onto you're starting on your second fret. You'll fret your second fret, and that's where the song actually starts. So you're hitting that and then coming up to your drone string. So you go 2, hammer onto 4, and then you're gonna want to pull off 4 before you go back to your 2. So you're not actually pulling off, but you're just hitting that 4 real quick, and then pulling off of 2. So 2, 4, 2. And you're just hitting an open D. The second time you're gonna hit the second fret on your D string. So that little lick's kind of in every part. Second fret, open, G string, and then it changes a tiny little bit on the second part. The second iteration of that part. Here you can either fret it or hammer on. I like to hammer on. You'll hammer onto the 3rd fret of your B string. And keep hitting that drone note. And you can do like there you're just alternating between your D and your G. So I'll play the whole thing. And before you, I did that once. I did that while I was playing that. But before you get. Kind of hit your open B before to kind of like bridge I guess like the rhythmic gap between your going back to your open G there. Kind of helps keep the rhythm because it can be kind of strange to just use your thumb there because you have to double do like a double stop on your. Well, I guess you can go back to your drone string. If you just keep this going, you can do that. I don't, because it feels weird for me. So it's kind of like adding a little hit, like a rhythmic hit, in between those. You can kind of do that on every iteration of your lick. Just kind of stop your thumb for a beat, and or just keep it going. That's probably a better way to practice. That might be just something that I do to help me kind of understand the rhythm. I don't know. I guess it sounds a little more like the song to me, but I don't think he does it. that's the first part, and then the second part is actually going to change time signatures a little bit. It goes into 5/4, which is a super interesting time signature. I would count it 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2. Subdividing these bigger or stranger time signatures has always helped me figure them out. Or you can just count to 5. 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. But the so that part is "Who won't be long till I belong." Can't sing it. I don't sing this song often just because it's in a strange rhythm, and you really would probably have to practice to sing it and play it at the same time. Shakey Graves has talked about this, about how he played this lick on a banjo. When he first wrote this song, he recorded the lick on a banjo, kind of separately from the vocals, and sang the vocals separately. So singing and playing this at the hard time, I imagine, would take a lot of practice. Not impossible. He does it in multiple settings. There are a bunch of live recordings of him playing and singing at the same time, so certainly not impossible. And if that's something you want to do, I encourage you to practice and try that. As I've said before, I'm just not a huge singer, but I love playing the instrumental part of the songs. It's a really cool part, and it'll get you used to stranger rhythms, doing subdivisions, and just counting those strange rhythms. But yeah, that's that. Won't be long till I belong. And so what you're doing there is you're just playing like your pointer finger is going to be on the first fret of your B string, and your middle finger is going to be on the second fret of your D string. And he hammers it on, and then does this little hammer on. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 on the 1. And then you just open it up. You're just playing totally open strings. In the open part, I find, especially if you're just playing the instrumental part, there's tons of room to, throw in extra notes. And even not the open part. Just experiment, play around with it, have fun. It's the main point of music, is to entertain yourself. Do something that's fun. And then when he goes into the without all this unlucky skin, there you're playing just this really interesting chord, similar to that of a chord that he plays on guitar a lot. It's like this 2-finger. You're playing your 2 D strings. On the first fret, so your middle finger is going to be on the first fret of your low D string, and your ring finger is going to be on the first fret of your high D string. And you can kind of, use whatever fingers feel most comfortable. But I find this might actually leave room for more fingers. Use your pointer and your middle fingers if you want to play around with adding notes. Just find what's more comfortable, find what you want to do, spend time with it, and have fun. But yeah, that part is 5/4. So I'll just play essentially the whole song. Each verse is just sang over that. I mean, the verses are sang over the original lick, and then it goes into the more chorusy section over the part that I just played. But I'll play the whole thing together, and then you can contextualize what I've said with what I'm doing. Slow it down for dramatic effect. But yeah, that's the whole song. Hope that helps. Cool song. Shakey Graves is the best. Poster right there. Shakey Graves poster. But yeah, at this point I kind of feel like a Shakey Graves tutorial channel, because I think I've done like 4 of his songs, but I learned them all. I learned a lot of them just because I love him so much. He's a great songwriter and a great guitar player, because this is on banjo, but he plays the song on guitar too. If you put the song in open D, or if you put your guitar in open D or open E or whatever, you can kind of you can do the same thing as you're doing on a banjo. The frets are pretty much the same, and I actually think they're exactly the same. You just kind of have to imagine that the banjo strings are the 4 strings in the middle, so it would be your A, D, F sharp, and A strings. Kind of have to treat it like that, and that's the tuning of open D. Normally it would be your A, D, G, and B strings, but in open D they're tuned differently. So yeah, if you get a guitar, tune it to open D, and then you can kind of use your low D as like a drone string. It'll still sound pretty good. And then your high D, it just says whatever. But yeah, that's the song. The finger picking part, still looking for a good way to describe that. But just get your thumb going. Your thumb was the hardest part for me to get down. And go back to the beginning, look at what I was doing. You're just kind of changing from string to string till the end. And then it's just start adding in your fingers. And like I said, the beginning part is mostly with your thumb. You could probably get away with just doing the part that incorporates your thumb. There's only a couple notes that you're playing with your pointer finger. But throw in notes at your discretion and just get used to doing that. Because especially if you go to guitar or want to get better at banjo, you're gonna need all the fingers you can get. So yeah, that's the whole song. Hope this helps. If not, please tell me so I can figure out how to make these better. But yeah, I'm just kind of describing the songs as I learn them and as I understand them. So yeah, can't think of much else. Hope you have a good one.